Welcome to a new update, and today we're going to discuss the Bitcoin price correction as we have been falling down and we have been covering that, in which we said that we're going to look at a few important levels to watch when it comes to the markets. In the past period, we've seen that a big group of people were hyped to get into the markets and they were waiting for for a correction eagerly. They were jumping onto altcoins. And finally, we can have the correction, but now the sentiment has been flipping. But before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel, also check out our free trade letter, and check out our premium platform, which includes copy trading, which we do with our partner Bitget, which has approximately $8,000 in bonuses. And therefore, you can also get 15% discount on your trading fees on the first month if you sign up beneath. What I meant by the sentiment that is switching is that on Thursday we've had the news from the SEC breaking down staking on centralized exchanges. I think that the entire concept of securities probably has to have a new adoption when it comes to crypto because securities in itself, the meaning of it definitely is true for the case of getting a return of holding a specific asset. However, within the cryptocurrency space, it's different because it's actually needed to make the ecosystem work. That's why you saw Ethereum and also some other cryptos dropping a bit more than expected. But I think that development will just continue to last, and I think that having regulation in play would actually be beneficial. But it's unfortunate that right now the FUD is just taking over and the markets are correcting in a sense that um, in the end self-regulation is the most vital one. But if we get regulation to avoid having um, the API or staking being the key intrinsic asset of the actual crypto, we could be getting into a phase where rug pulls are getting out of the market because people are getting hyped around the fact that they can make 5,000% API in a certain asset, and then they get rug pulled, which is essentially the same as cracking down liquidations or leverage trading. I think it's not a bad thing. However, what we see right now is that people are using the actual ban of securities as a negative word, and I think that it's actually a positive one, but it will just develop over time. When we're looking at the markets, I think the daily chart can show that we are into a corrective period. We're getting into the stage of hitting that block around 21K, which is actually the entry zone that you should be looking at. We might be sweeping towards the CME gap at 19.7. And I think after a run of 15.6 to 25K, is actually a great period to start looking into those longs because it's by the dip season at this point. And I think that especially with the data coming in the coming weeks, we should be going to continue rally because the inflation will probably drop like a stone. Unemployment most likely doesn't give that much of a data yet, which gives us input to generate some more momentum to the upside, especially with Powell speaking relatively soon again. Now, when we're looking at the price action of Bitcoin, we can see that we've had this harsh rejection at 23.3K. And we've seen that we have been testing the support multiple times, right? So in theory, we have been seeing the correction taking place in which we have been rejecting at 23.3K, right? So we have been falling down beneath in which the support has been slammed a lot. We have been taking all the liquidity beneath that actual level, rejected again at 22.8, and then we started to fall down, in which currently we are seeking for support, and I've been marking this one already, but I think we could be going towards the area around 21.1 and get the bounce from there. That what might be marking as the end of this correction. It might be marking as an essential great point of this entire block to jump into the markets. If the market really wants to take all the liquidity, you're going to get a sweep beneath 20.2, and then we're going to look at 19.7. Overall, if, and the last period which was here, if you wanted to get into an entry for Bitcoin at this point, I think right now you're getting it, in a sense that this correction might be very short-lived unless macroeconomics are going to shift and the Nasdaq is going to fall apart and DXY starts to rally even more. But at this point, around these regions are the regions where we probably are going to have some sideways period. of a few weeks, and then we can continue starting to rally again, especially when Powell starts to speak up. And that way, many altcoins are also correcting a lot. So the sentiment is currently that Bitcoin is going to hit 10K, or at least starts to correct even more based on the fact that Thursday we've had that news, which is not really the case. So we are putting too much value in that news at this point, in which it's granting us opportunities, and some altcoins are coming down by 30 to 40% already, getting in the same levels as we have been marking around 21K, and therefore it's an interesting one to jump into the markets for trading perspectives. That's the update for today. Make sure to be there tomorrow as well. Have a great day. Ciao.